share the file in the meeting. Okay. Got you. Thank you for letting me know how to do that. All right, y'all. Um, Welcome to part two. This is all about techniques of the law of attraction. So we know some of the techniques from just remembering the secret. What's the most popular technique is our vision boarding is a huge technique, right? Vision boarding is all about the vision that you have for your life. But there are also a couple of other ways that we can not only um, implement the law of attraction in our everyday life, but that we can also start to learn the lessons when we are in the law of attraction class, let's just say, right? So as we journey on these 21 days, different things are going to pop up that are commonalities. And we've already talked about some of the really good things, which are synchronicities, right? And so synchronicities can be anything from I asked spirit to make sure that I saw red butterflies, right? And that's just a contract that you and spirit have. And then every day you start seeing red butterflies in one way or another. Those red butterflies could be in nature, it could be on a billboard, it could be on the side of a car, but then all of a sudden you're like, it's red butterflies everywhere, right? So those are types of law of attraction confirmations. But there's also periods of as you're going through it that it's a healing that also spirit uses, as I call, like a resistance. And so resistance a lot of times pops up in our bodies, in our minds, as we're training ourselves to be in this new energy. We're raising our vibration, but there begins to be something that really tries its best to be like, are you sure about that though? You know, you said you wanted that good thing, but let me just show you and present to you that old thing that you know you be loving to do all the time. And that's what I call the resistance. Now, what I want to talk about in terms of the resistance as one key point is how we work through that in a really healthy way. And so that we're not negative to ourselves or bashing ourselves when that resistance comes, right? Also, there are stages of grief sometimes in the law of attraction, right? Because if you're shifting paradigms, if you're shifting mind states, if you're shifting yourself into something that is the highest and best, and you've always kind of been doing the same thing, you sometimes need to create some space for that new you to arrive, right? So that's another thing that we'll be discussing as we rebirth ourselves. You know, what does that look like, and is it okay to sometimes be sad about what we now have to let go of? And then of course practices around our future self is also so motivating. So being able to have spaces where you really start to visualize or call in your future self is something that we're going to be talking about. And I think, oh, and the last one is um, we're going to do affirmation cards, how to use affirmative messages on a daily basis, a weekly basis, or how to create a space of divination for yourself so that you can keep yourself in that high vibrational space, and you really start to understand that spirit sees you, right? By you being able to pull the card or do the divination or what have you, and it helps to encourage you to stay on your road in on your track, which I write sometimes about in my newsletter. But I think that I've always shown cards, but I don't think that people really understood what card pulling means or looks like, or why affirmations actually work, even with the law of abundance, although we're in the law of abundance class. um Really understanding how to use a modality outside of yourself that can then show you what's going on inside of your inner self, right? And that's what affirmation cards are for me, and that's how I use them therapeutically. So with that, let's go ahead and begin. And lastly, we're going to end with uh meditations on love with the sound bowls, right? So we're going to be able to drop into the space of universal love. And that is also a, to me, the epitome of law of attraction. It is literally what I have had to drop into every single time I was ready to manifest. And that love was far, 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 far beyond what I even conceived love to be. It's probably what all the sages and saints and Jesuses and all those people talk about when they talk about preaching about love. That's 100% source energy. And when you begin to just kind of tap into that, um, you learn an abundance that is just literally limitless and always giving and receiving 100%. So just being able to understand what that feels like and perhaps being able to anchor into that love as a way for you to continue to come back to the law of attraction and receive positive results. All righty. The notes, the notes. Okay. So you'll see me looking to the left. If you have any questions, please stop me because it's going to be very lectury today until we get to the sound bath. So if you have questions, open up your audio and just yell them out because I'm going to be probably looking at a different screen. All right. So the law of attraction works on a bunch of levels, but baseline, it works through your somatic and nervous system. And so your somatic nervous system, your body, your nerves, right? So thinking about the bazillion nerves that you have inside of your body and training those to be in this receiving space of what you see and vision for your life. So allowing your body, mind, spirit, everything to be in alignment with your highest self or the unseen, right? So to attract your highest and best, you have to teach your nervous system what it would feel like and to live in that truth. So that's the practice, right? So as we are doing the 21 days, every single day, you're strengthening your nervous system to align itself with the abundance that your higher self knows that it has for you, right? You can repeat to yourself a million times that you're a millionaire, but literally nothing happens because your system knows that you recoil at the price of gas, right? Like as soon as you see that it's above $3, then you're like, oh. And so your nervous system is already like, oh, we know what it means to not have enough, right? That gives your nervous system the actual truth of I don't have enough. So 1 minute you're saying you're a millionaire, and a millionaire is basically you saying money is limitless, or I have more than enough to provide for all of the things that I need. But then when you look at the gas price is saying, bitch, you don't got enough. Or one day you're not gonna have enough, right? And so that becomes your actual truth. So I remember when I was in my 20s, I worked at a salon where the stylists and the owners, the folks, all of them drove like these really fancy cars. And the clients in that salon made triple the amount that anybody that I had ever met in my life made, right? And so the owner of the salon, I remember saying, I don't even look at the price of gas. I just fill up, right? And this is during like some type of inflation that we're experiencing in the US or whatever. And I just remember thinking, that's the goal, right? Not just with gas, but with everything, to be like, I don't necessarily need to look at that. I know that I'm provided for. And that's how he made me feel in that moment, that he was so assured that he would always be provided for. So there are certain things that he didn't even have to look at baseline, right? And so that's what the law of attraction begins to train us in, is that this world is limitless. You are the creator, you are the co-creator with all of this. So once you get it into your nervous system that this is what I desire, or this is what I want to experience, you co-create that with the universe, and that becomes your actual lived experience. So one of the practices too is, and this is where we're kind of talking about resistance. So this is our first kind of practice, is the clearing practice from the worksheet. right? So in the clearing practice, it asks you, you know, what is your intention, and then what are your fears, right? So this clearing practice is clearing out the energy of your fears by allowing those fears to come face first in your face through your journal, right? You don't have to lie about anything. You don't have to, you know, shuck and jive. You can write right in there, like, this is what I'm afraid of. Like, if I then become a millionaire, I believe that, you know, people with $1 million are greedy, and I don't want to be greedy. And therefore, right, you counteract your actual abundance in terms of your finances, right? So the step one is just turning that lie on its head, right? Turn that lie on its head. It makes it very, very clear what you desire when you actually turn the lie on its head, right? So if I'm saying that I want to be a millionaire, right? What are my fears around becoming a millionaire? I'll be greedy. Well, why would I be greedy? Well, there's all these stories out there that people with money, like who own Amazon and Elon Musk, they're greedy, or they're this, and that, or all of the ways that society tells you that financial people with financial wealth are somehow mean or stuck up or in a class that is their own, and therefore they're not kind, friendly people, right? So you could fear being disliked. You could fear somehow losing your moral compass, right? If you then have all the money that you need. You may fear that you lose those closest to you by having this financial abundance, right? So being able to face those fears head on are the resistance, right? And so whenever you get into a situation where you are building your wealth, let's say you're then like, okay, well, I want to invest more into my retirement account, or when I start to look at my finances, I really want to understand what I'm spending and what my budget is. You're going to start to feel that lie. You're going to start feeling that lie come up, and you're not going to want to meet with your accountant, right? You're not going to want to go look at your 401k. You're not going to, right? You're going to keep feeling these kind of resistances around, I have plenty, I have enough, I have more than enough. And when you start to tell your nervous system, I have more than enough, then you start to look for your accountant, because you know that your accountant is going to build a foundation or be able to explain to you that you have all this money and these are the things that you need to do with it. And it's always been enough and blah, 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 blah. You will no longer have that fear and that resistance around it, right? And so what I like to do during the clearing practice, which is something that you may want to continue doing throughout the 21 days, is asking yourself why, right? Asking yourself why 3 to 5 times when you start to experience resistance. It wasn't.
Shayna, can you go back like two sentences ago? If your camera froze, so it wasn't clear what you just said.
Okay. I think I was saying, was I at the accountant?
Yes,
Okay.
you were right at saying that the accountant. I mean that you're going to start looking for your accountant, and then it froze.
Oh, okay. So then you'll start to look for your accountant, because you know that your accountant is either going to affirm for you that you have more than enough, or the accountant is going to be able to build a solid foundation for you then to be poured into, right? Then your accountant kind of becomes your ally, right? And telling you every single time that you meet with them how much money you have. Or you'll start to go into taxes, because during taxes, you know that you'll get to see how much money that you made. And so taxes won't feel like a grab and a pull, right? Taxes will be, oh, I made blah, blah, blah amount of money. We already know they take 20%. That's already been budgeted out. It ain't no problem paying Peter and Paul and all of these other folks. I have more than enough. There's no reason for me to resist taxes anymore, right? Because I have way more than enough. It begins to change your habits. All right. So what I was saying was that as we go through the 21 days, you may want to revisit this resistance. Whenever you kind of start to feel within yourself these kind of resistances, you may want to continue to go in your journal and write down 3 to 5 reasons that you are feeling the resistance or why this is happening, right? Sometimes if I wake up in the morning and I feel anxiety, I literally have to say, like, what are you anxious about? And then I ask myself, well, why? Well, why? Well, why? Well, why? And I keep going down until I get to the point where my nervous system feels settled again and at peace again. And then my journal has revealed to me the things that I fear, right? Perhaps in that day, I have a very uh, packed schedule. So I wake up with the anxiety of, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to do all these classes? Am I going to be able to be on time? Am I going to be able to do this, this, and this? And so my body is like, oh my God, you're not enough. Right. And then as I go through the thing, I'm like, oh, I believe there's not enough time in the day. I believe that I'm not going to be able to meet the demands that I put on my schedule. None of that is actually true. I've created this schedule. I've created things that I find joy in. And now I can begin to let go of the resistance or the anxiety, right? And so I guess I'm kind of touching on a little bit there too around how the law of attraction will also help you to heal any anxiousness that you are dealing with. Go slow. It's one thing at a time. A lot of us have anxiousness in a lot of different spots of our lives, right? So just know that it is still a process of really understanding your anxiety in this way. But it is a felt sense of fear. That's what anxiety is. It's a felt sense of fear that perhaps we are not enough or we're not going to be able to fulfill what we need to do in this destiny. And we've got to kind of clamor to make things happen, right? Essentially we feel unsafe, right? We feel unsafe. So when you look at that again, remembering how you feel, we are moving ourselves away from our logical minds and we're moving into the feeling space. So this is a global shift that is happening all over the planet, where our intuitive senses are being heightened and our logical senses are kind of not as important as they were in the kind of scientific renaissance world we had been living in. Right now, it feels like the science and the intuition are now starting to come together and being like, that intuition was right the whole time. Right. And that intuition is felt inside of our bodies. And then it informs our mind. So when you're going through your 5 whys, right, or you're looking, see how you feel. Notice where you feel it, right? You can always ask me, Shayna, I felt it in this part of my body. It was in my gut. It was in my lower pelvis. When I was doing this, for some reason, my thighs started to ache. All of that is information. All of that is information. Your gut, your body is God. This whole entire system, all of those nerves are antennas out in the world feeding you information, right? So, what you feel is the most important thing. So, for you to begin to really understand your intuition, be able to unblock yourself, and then be able to call in what it is that you need because you'll then have a clear channel. All right. So from your feelings is where you create your I am statement, right? So you create an I am statement based on an emotion or a declaration that you feel. I hope this is making sense, right? So usually your I am statement is I am worthy, right? I am loved unconditionally. In there is a feeling. Worthiness has a feeling. Being loved unconditionally has a feeling. So it's not just I am a millionaire. I am worthy of more than I ever thought I needed, right? I am loved and taken care of. I am completely safe and held. I am nurtured, right? I deserve a comfortable lifestyle would be I am deserving. I deserve a comfortable lifestyle becomes I am deserving. As you start to feel into I am deserving, kind of all these little things start popping off. Right? Because you're like, I'm deserving. And then you'll all of a sudden you'll start to treat yourself better. Because then you're just like, oh, I do deserve that though. Oh, I do deserve to be comfortable in this movie theater. So I'm going to make sure that I bring a blanket. You know, just little bitty stuff, but you will start to nurture that I am deserving, right? And the reason that this works is this is the second part of the law of attraction that I love is that you'll become a watcher of yourself, right? You'll become the watcher of your thoughts. It's very, very important. The Power of Now does a really awesome job of explaining how you just become the watcher of your thoughts and how the watcher is actually your higher self. So anytime you hear yourself or you feel yourself talking shit about you, right, you will then bring in your affirmation. Right? Because whatever that shit itty bitty shitty committee is a lie. Right? These are conditions that we have been taught. These are ways that, for whatever reason, we don't believe that we are perfect, that we don't believe that we are God, that we do not believe that we are worthy. Right? That itty bitty, anytime you hear anything negative, that is not something that is spiritual. That is not something that is pushing you forward. There is a difference between the truth and talking shitty to yourself. Facts are a fact. You know what I mean? You come into a room, you feel a person who is just grumpy. You're right. The fact is they're grumpy. We don't need to be around them. That's just fact. It's not negative or positive. That's just a fact, right? But when you get inside yourself and you hear yourself every single time you take off your clothes to get in the shower, say, "Ooh, my belly's too big." That's the itty bitty shitty committee. Ain't nothing wrong with your belly. No. If you want to then change your affirmation to I have a healthy and vibrant six pack, okay, that's cool. Right? But it ain't nothing wrong with your belly. That's somebody outside of yourself telling you that something is wrong with your belly and something wrong with your body because it's supposed to look like this. And you've been watching TV and everybody done said that this is what it's supposed to look like. It is not supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like how yours looks. It's perfect. God made it, right? So why would you argue with the beauty of what it is? So you'll start to now see, right, how and what ways that you talk to yourself and that you are actually creating a cage of limits. Again, not your fault. These are things that we're having to relearn because we were under a completely different paradigm. But now that we're on that freedom road, we have to condition ourselves for something completely different. We have to put something different in that 6-year old, 7-year old, 8-year old's mind, right? And affirm for them that ain't nothing wrong. You straight and you are abundant, or whatever our affirmation is, right? So, as an example, for many years, I ran in kind of two different directions, right? I didn't have a kind of, I had a double life where my career and my spiritual life were separate, but they both demanded me full time. So, because I'm a community servant, I was thrilled to serve in terms of my voodoo house. So my voodoo house was all magic. People would come get their divinations from their ancestors, from their higher self. Then they would have spiritual baths and rituals that they had to do in conjunction with that divination. And so many weekends I spent learning divination, putting herbs together, giving people baths, cleaning up, doing all types of things with livestock in order to give offerings to the ancestors and to set up altars and all these different things. And then I also had a full-time salon, right, that had its own staff and its own order and its own healing modalities, right? Women coming in to get their natural hair done was completely new. So we had to nurture them into wearing their hair in this way that proclaimed beauty for themselves. So I had these kind of two different lives, and I could never tell the salon people that I did voodoo. Right? Because we were not in this current age, right? So I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a southern state. You go to church. It is, you get dressed up. You had Christianity has its own rituals that I wasn't even privy to. You know what I mean? I was raised in Christianity, but the way that it's done in the South is much deeper ritualistically. So I would not even have language around like, oh, it's Easter. I know we all dressing up. Like I knew that part was cool, but then they had these whole programs and all these different things that I didn't necessarily grow up with. So I was living this kind of double life at the what do you call it? The vortex of that was an internal feeling that I was not enough. And what that ended up doing was that it made me feel like my time and my money were always short. I never felt like I had enough time. Money always seemed to be in short supply, even though my salon was always bustling. I was working in my regular salon job 70 hours per week, right? Because I was willing to give and sacrifice anything that I could during day or night for my community, because that's where I felt like my worth was. It was to give and to give and to give. There was no time for me to waste resting or being poured into in any kind of way. So my nervousness that there was not enough pushed me to work myself completely to the bone. And I was absolutely not in touch with abundance, right? Because if I'm in touch with abundance, then I know that I have plenty of time. I can think about systems. I'm worthy of telling folks, hey, I need to work 3 days this week because 2 days I go to Augusta, Georgia, which is 2 hours away, and spend the entire weekend doing rituals of healing. I am worthy enough to combine the two, work a normal workload, and still give my community more than it actually needs. But I had to pour into myself first. Because I didn't do that, I hit a wall. Raina will tell you, like, you every day you would hear me be like, I hate doing hair. I don't ever want to do this. This is like something I enjoyed every single day, and now I just can't even stand to be around it and blah 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 blah, because there was nothing pouring into my cup whatsoever. So what I was doing was I was attracting not enough. My battery ran dead, like all batteries do. If they don't have enough juice, they don't have enough fuel, they don't have enough electricity. My business faded. My love life was completely disrupted. And the relationship that I had, I only have one son. And the relationship that I had with my son went into a spiral of a crisis for at least a year. And we both had to rebuild. All this, even though I'm like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and everything is just going down, 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 right? Because I was not in touch with the part of me that's like, I'm abundant. There's always enough. I have no idea how a person makes six figures and then goes to the bank and is always overdraft, right? Like, it's because you have no time to sit and really understand and manage the wealth that is actually right around you. You can't even see it because you're too busy giving it away. I've had a ton of clients in terms of finances. They're the person who always gets called when their cousin's light bill is turned off. They're the person that someone is always calling to work extra hours. They're the person that's always calling when people need to come and stay with them overnight or stay with them for some months or what have you. And they're like, I don't know why I'm broke. Well, you give it all away. You don't put any in reserve for yourself because you don't actually believe that you deserve it or that you are worthy of having way more than enough. So it's a cycle of just giving it away. We sometimes learn this generation after generation after generation, but brown women, especially, that's just the strong black woman, pretty much. That's just the strong black woman, right? Um, So you have to be able to see where you're standing in your own way. That's what's important for me around this the turn, right, that you're going to be taking in the law of abundance, right? All right. So number one was turn the lie on its head, being able to use that, and then be able to look, at least saying 3 to 5 whys to yourself whenever you feel the resistance coming up. Um, Allowing yourself to be the watcher is step two, right? Or just another technique for you to really understand yourself during the process of the law of attraction and the 21 days of abundance. And now the third, we're going to talk about these affirmation cards, right? So affirmation cards nowadays, you can get them anywhere. You can make your own. It don't matter. If you make your own, make sure you pray over them, set intentions for them. I bought these from a Black woman maker. You can also use tarot cards as affirmation if you would like. I like using affirmation cards instead of tarot because tarot, a lot of times I'm gonna pull one out. So tarot will have symbols, colors, those kind of things. And sometimes you kind of need to know the meaning of them. Whereas affirmation cards come as one, I don't know if that's coming in focus or not, but it comes as one statement. So this one statement is, I'm hella in my bag. That looks very fuzzy. So, but it says I'm hella in my bag. There's another one that says I'm a whole ass vibe, right? This one says I'm breaking the generational patterns that once held my lineage behind. So the great things about affirmation cards is that, let's say you are in the practice and you've decided affirmation cards are going to be your way of affirming your original intent, which is I am deserving. So I am deserving is your overall theme. And then you are going to clear your cards. This is important for if you're using any kind of divination system, that you first set a clearing intention and a protective intention, right? We don't want to be out here just talking to anybody. We want to talk to our folks who love us, know us, who have our best and highest in mind, right? So allowing that foundation to be set, protecting yourself in a really, really great bubble of light and love, and then going into your pull. That can be a 2-second intention that you just feel yourself, that you speak yourself, that you write down yourself in your journal. It is completely up to you. You clear your cards. You can shuffle. I pull from the middle or the top. Some people literally will shuffle and then just look at the bottom card. I think that that's brilliant as well, right? And so you're going to say that you are, I am deserving. And then this card that's on the bottom is my greatest good and what is meant for me will never miss me. That ties into I'm deserving seamlessly. Now you have an affirmation for the day or for the week that then the universe is like, yeah, because the greatest good and what is meant for me, it will never miss me. It's always, the universe is always working in my favor, right? So affirmation cards are not just this play tool, right? They're a way for the divine or the invisible realm to then really anchor you into you are being seen and we got something to say to you. This is what we see you as. This is how we see you. We need this to be in alignment with one another. The coolest thing to me is when you feel it, you still feeling it from yesterday because they gave you such a good message, and then you pull it again the next day. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I love those kind of synchronicities as well. This is a great technique, regardless if you're in the 21 laws of abundance. If you're in anything, it is a great, 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 great tool to anchor into just higher vibration, period. So having a ritual of doing this every day, every week, every month, every moon cycle, something like that is really great for your intuition. It's really great for you to get anchored in again to a higher self or a higher vibration of yourself. Once you have that, you can put that card anywhere. You can put it back into your deck. I like to sit them out for the day, someplace that I can see, even if it's just on the mirror in the bathroom or in my bedroom when I first wake up, somewhere that I can visibly see it, and then I will, replace it whenever I do another one. And I still go through the whole cycle of making sure that I pray, pull a card, and then proceed from there. Right? 246. Okay. Now we are at love, grief. Sorry. Sorry. We're going to go through this first. Grief. Okay. So making space, this is what I call the grieving process, is really, really about making space, right? So your perceptions and reactions are going to be different during this process, right? That means your perceptions, your reactions, your choices, all those things are going to be different. So you have to make space for that higher self, for that new you, for that future self to be able to show up. um when I used to do a book that was like calling in the one, and calling in the one, the way that she made us make space is you physically had to make space for your partner. So you had to go and clear out part of your closet. You had to clear out part of like the bathroom where they would put their stuff. Every single person who did that, their partner like, yes, within a matter of time, because it's like if something happens that you're like, okay, I'm making space for this. And all of us who were doing the book together ended up receiving, you know what I'm saying, a partnership dates, whatever. We were successful in finding someone, right? Um, so you will have to make changes in order to adapt to the alignment that you've called in. And it'll feel strange at first. And that's where the grief comes in, right? So part of my new journey is I had a couple of friends that I felt like I was like, I'm just repeating the same thing and expecting getting a different result. So I ended up having to call those friends and just end the relationship. There had been some disruption. We had come back together. I saw once we came back together that it was the same shit, different day. So I had to have a closure conversation. I grieved for days and days and days because I'm not that same person who was their friend. And it no longer, whatever was going on in that vibration no longer served me. But I had to allow myself to just feel that and know that and be okay with that and know that, again, the universe is working in my favor. So I have to be able to let old ties go, right? So calling in love, which is what we're going to be doing during the sound bath, will give you an anchor that is ruthless in protecting you and moving you forward. That's why we're going to practice it live. When you call in the force of love, that is the divine source, that is the universal source, it is ruthless in protecting you. It does not play no games. Right? Um, the process again will have synchronicities, it'll have aha moments, it'll have disappointments based on you being used to the old way of being and having to make changes towards the new way of being. So imagine, again, I'm letting this friend go, and like having to even text that we need to have a conversation makes me shake. You know what I mean? I'm scared. Like I'm super fearful. Friendships mean the world to me. Like I'm one of those people, if I'm your friend, we are going to be at each other's funeral and then we're going to be in heaven together. Like I'm like, this it. Right. So, but I had to learn the age old, people come into your life for a reason, a season, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is a reason in the season, but it's not going to be working for me. But I'm shaking. right? And I had to give myself enough time and space to be like, it's okay. Breathe deep. Where does love reside? And when I would feel that overwhelming sense that I am covered, I'm nurtured, I'm carried, I'm loved, I could then be like, okay, because I know that what I'm going to say is in love. I know that both of our futures are going to be bright. It ain't really nothing I got to worry about. I just need to go on my path, right? But again, while I'm shaking, I ain't thinking that. So love is going to be a place that you'll be able to return, to anchor in to your own vibration, to your own power. Um, it does take focused intention, right? It takes focused intention to heal and to become magnetic. If you don't do the work, no seeds will bear fruit, right? We can put this seed deep, deep, deep in this beautiful womb. But if the sun is not there, the water is not there, in a regular intervals, that flower, that tree is not going to sprout. So, in order for this seed of deserving, worthiness, love, whatever it is that you are planting, if you're not willing to show up, be able to do the work, none of it works. The magic is 100% in you. Nothing or no one else is going to be able to do it for you. And it's not a lackadaisical process. It is what I call a joyful discipline, right? A joyful discipline. We are rewiring the way that your mind works. We are rewiring your nervous system, to a higher frequency of love and receiving. We're moving ourselves out of this fight or flight forced way that for generations we've been doing life. And now we're calling in this abundant, receiving, easeful, expanded perspective. And it takes a minute to shake that load off. So we got to do the work, right? Um, so in this realm, love, to fully and quickly manifest, you have to begin fostering a connection with God, with source, with love. In this realm, there is no limits because the law of the universe is expansion. So if you read anything on physics, it will tell you that the universe is this expanding ball of chaos. And that chaos is the order that we see around us: dirt, clothes, our house, planets, stars, etc. So this manifesting love or manifesting self-love or connecting with this God source energy, this is not about the self-love that we see on Instagram, right? This is not about getting your nails done. It's not about going to the spa. Although those things are healing, if you do them from a source of love, right? Like, okay, cool. But if you're doing them because the outside world will see you as pretty or put together or this, the same thing with me with getting my degree. I was like, do I really want to be doing this? Because I don't want this to come from a place from within. People can just, and it was like, no, you really, really, really love healing people therapeutically, especially brown women. So get this degree from a place of love, and then you will have access to so many more people in an affordable way. And then I told Spirit, like, okay, if I have to go to school for the next 2.5 3 years at 40 something years old and basically be broke, I better like this shit. Right. And I swear to God, that was the contract. For 2 years there's only been one class that I really struggled with, but I enjoyed every single class. I got so much fruit from every single class. It opened up a whole nother realm of plant medicine journeys that I had already been doing, that now there's this whole validation around it for me to continue to do it and bring it to brown folks. Um, that all came from me feeling, knowing the abundance of God and source, and then journeying the path and not feeling like, well, what are you scared of? What is your resistance, et cetera, et cetera. right? But I had to love it. I had to come from a place of love. If not, then I'm going to get this therapy degree. It's going to be a piece of paper that everybody else respects, right? But it ain't really going to be something I really want to do or that I'm really fruitful at or really actually feeds me in my community. So I had to anchor into my future self loving school and then whatever it was I wanted to do after school. All right. Do you have any questions? Does anybody have any questions? All right.
Okay, Shayna, it is. It's an interest. It's a so girl. This goes back to before full lessons. Well, no, it was the first thing you were speaking about, as far as fear and you know, um, speaking to yourself in a higher vibrational space, and you were um you were giving an example about like, oh, if you look in the mirror and you're like, um, oh, my belly is big, and you're like, stop saying that, it's
Yeah.
perfect. And I kind of want a little bit of clarity on that because, so for me, I'm thinking about like in a moment that if that's something that I'm saying it because I'm very aware, like I've been wilding, right? And eating sugars and doing this and that. And I know that my belly is not in its ideal, not even in a perfect, but just ideal in the sense of like really because I've been doing my own just like, eating right or eating to what is being asked of me in this current present time to then um have the results of whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it would be more like my belly is like, okay, when you were talking about like you have aches and pains in body parts, that my belly being as expanded as it would be my body trying to, or universe telling me like, so when you gonna do something about this? Are you just gonna keep letting it get like, bigger, larger, like you know what I'm saying? So in those moments, it's not so much that I would be wanting to say my belly's big and being negative. It's more being aware, like, okay, this is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, um, I guess the notion of not that it's perfect, but in a sense of, I guess, that perfection being, oh, thank you, universe, for sending a sign to
Yeah.
remind me that this is a message to make me do what I need to do.
Yeah. I'm going to use another example from my personal arsenal. Um, I get kidney infections or UTIs frequently.
Mm,
UTIs are so frequent and prevalent in our society that really the medication should be just over the counter. But the
mm,
common issue with UTIs are anger, really. Your kidney
mm,
inflames because you're holding in anger. So if you can imagine how many women are out here pissed the fuck off. That's why it hurts when you go to the bathroom
mm,
because you're pissed off, right?
mm,
The water that you would normally use to sustain yourself, you have probably have not been drinking because you are not in a place again of truly nourishing yourself and being able to sit with the truth of what's going on, right? So, number one, my first step is then to, okay, I need to drink water. I need to slow myself down. I need to drink water. I need to put some, cool, really cool that internal fire, you know what I mean, that I have. And then I need to look at what the fuck I'm mad about.
mm,
And why do I feel like I cannot, once I figure out that, right? These goes back to the why am I holding it in?
mm,
Why do I feel the need to hold it? Who told me I need to hold it in? Maybe it don't even matter who told me I needed to hold it in, but I need to stop doing shit so that I won't keep, so that my body will not keep triggering. You are really mad and you are really pissed. And
mm,
so that's how I feel like the body keeps the score. That's how I know the body is. I mean, I started learning Chinese medicine at 18, 19 years old. And I was like, yo, Indian people and Chinese people, they got the bag because they don't separate anything. It's all one together. So when they're going with them little acupuncture, they're getting in your nerves and releasing the nerves. That's them little bitty pins in different places that they're tapping into your nervous system and releasing those blockages. So now anytime I have an illness or whatever, I accept it. Okay, the body is trying to tell me something. I do my best to not get into any kind of self-deprecating space because that's going to do nothing but inflame whatever the issue is that I have, whether it's a broken arm or some immune system issue. And I look up what that means through Chinese medicine, or what part of the body is upset, or what the emotional reason is for what I have, so that I can understand it. And if I keep getting it repeatedly, right, then I know that I'm now setting some kind of deeper, I have a deeper belief that has not been balanced. I'm going to use the word balance because I feel like that's a better word than just even healed. Like, because, we going to teeter. Like, we're humans.
Yeah.
We out here experiencing. So, did that answer?
Yes, they have. And I love you saying it pissed off, like literally piss your pisses off.
Yes. You mad. You pissed off. Now your piss is off.
Yes.
Yeah. That's always my example. Um, and I started this practice relatively young. So what I mean is, like, I feel like it's a newer concept to the world. We're just now being introduced to like Ayurveda and massages, all these ways that really help to heal us. We're just now being really introduced to Reiki, when we know Reiki came from like Japan, you know what I mean, to the United States. We're just learning about what the chakra system really, really is, outside of like, oh, we know these yoga girls be doing something with their chakras or something. Like, now we really understand that it's a system within our energy body as well as our physical bodies. So that's been a really magical thing for me, for all of these kind of modalities to finally come to the forefront and come together. And it really has helped me with sound healing as well, because it's like, as soon as I started doing this, I was like, oh, this is medicine. Like, music is medicine, but like, we can actually play the tune of a person's chakra system and clear out their blocks. And I was just like, oh shit. Like, it's to the point where I know there's going to be sound healers that you're going to go to the sound healer first. And then you're going to probably have to go to the doctor to say, oh, I have this, and this. I just need the antibiotic to clear it up. But my sound healer already told me that and you'll be able to get whatever is clogging up your throat. Like, the throat is a thyroid, right? A lot of people have thyroid issues because they can't really fully speak their truth. So it gets clogged up, and then they start gaining weight. It fucks up their hormonal systems, et cetera, right? So think about, if you come to a sound healer on a regular and they're clearing out your throat, you don't have thyroid issues no more. It's you stop it before it even builds up as a cancer or a tumor or whatever the case may be. Does that make sense? We're kind of going off on a tangent. For everybody who's watching this, thank you for being patient. Later date people. I was promised that I would like try my best to make it only an hour. So I'm gonna let you all get in position to receive the sound bath, and the guided meditation, so that we can keep it brief. We're going to do about 10 to 15 minutes. It's going to be both the sound and my voice, right? So go ahead and get yourself in a grounded position. So this last practice I'm going to lead you on is a meditation that helps you to connect with source or expanded love. And it's important because in this place of deep relaxation, we're able to experience that deep stillness and that calm. And we're able to tap into source in this relaxed state. This is why so many monks meditate because they know that when they drop in, they're going to go into that stillness. And inside that stillness is the source of the all. That source of all that is love has all the information that you would ever need, ever want, or ever desire. It is all literally within us. It's where the know thyself um, comes from in Egypt, because once you get into that stillness place, you then be able to call out any question that you want and be able to receive the knowledge of it. So, first, we have to familiarize ourselves in our nervous system to love. Because right now, we believe what we are taught when we grew up, and that love is conditional. No matter what folks say, love is conditional. We have a million times over seen how we get punished if we say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, make the wrong choice, blah, 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 blah. There's always a wrong and a right, right? In this space of divine love, there is no wrong or no right, right? So the example that I give for this is uh, sometimes the best way for us to walk is on roller skates, right, instead of tennis shoes. But because the world says that skates only belong in skating rinks or as a fun little activity, we limit our best and most efficient and fun way to get someplace. That's dumb. The easiest way to get there is on roller skates. Why wouldn't we just be like, fuck it all? I do this with roller skates on. I work in a factory and I just roller skate from, place to place because it's the fastest and the funnest way for me to get there. It's really nothing wrong with it. But we've been told this other thing. You only wear tennis shoes, you only walk. This is the only way to do it. Right. So this is what love provides. This is what anchoring into love provides. It shatters limits, right? It shatters limits. And as it shatters limits, you then become magnetic to the highest and best frequency, the highest and best parts of you. Your genius, your brilliance is able to shine unhinged and limitless. Okay? Promises on this good Sunday. But go ahead and get yourself comfortable. If you want to, you can lie down. But the most important thing is that you are tuned in to the sounds that are coming through your ears. And what I would love for you to do is just allow your ears to wander as you deepen your breath. Just notice what you hear around you, but don't label it. Gently become aware of your inhale and your exhale. Maybe you begin to notice your belly button rising and falling. You allow whatever tension is being held in your body to simply be answered with your breath. Allowing your breath to soften any place in your body that needs a little extra space, a little extra nurturing. And maybe you begin to notice or even closing down the windows to your eyes. And if your eyes are already closed, maybe you begin to allow yourself to see what is behind your eyes. And then gently let that go. Maybe you begin to feel your forehead and your eyebrows soften. And all the muscles in your cheeks begin to soften. The inside of your mouth, your throat, the back of your head. Maybe the muscles around your neck and your shoulders begin to soften. Giving them shoulder blades and that collarbone extra relief. Remembering that you're supported as you soften and feel into your spine, all the way down your back into your lower back softens. Your ribs, your belly, your womb space in between your thighs. Your legs begin to soften. Breathing into your kneecaps, your ankles, your feet. Just noticing any sensations that you feel in your feet or the bottoms of your feet. Perhaps you begin to bring your attention and your breath to your hands. Beginning to feel how your palms feel, your fingers, your fingertips. Just noticing any sensations that you feel in your hands and just beginning to become present. Becoming present with your own energy, your own feelings in your body. Moving that awareness up your arms and into the center of your chest. And allowing yourself to drop into the center of your chest as your heart space. Just beginning to notice what you notice right there in your heart space. Allowing your mind to just wander out. Allowing all your brain activity to dissipate and dissolve. And allow this space in your heart to call out to the seen and the unseen beloveds. Asking them to protect you and to guide you. creating a gentle shield of love all around your body. That shield can be anything. It can be light, it can be fire, it can be water, it can be a force. Allow that force to ground you and allow you to know that you are safe. In that safety, there is nothing you need to do. There's nothing to worry about. There's nowhere that you need to be. Your awareness is fully present. Allow yourself just to be. And perhaps you can get a felt sense in that center of your chest. Maybe that felt sense is a gentle light, a gentle light of love in your heart space. And just notice where it resides. Perhaps the light is outside of you. Maybe the light is inside of you. Just notice what you notice. As you drift into a space of love, maybe your heart begins to remember the sensation of unconditional love. Allow yourself to feel if the light is outside of you, allow the light to come from the outermost part of the universe into the center of your body. Perhaps you practice this as a breath. Inhaling love, exhaling love. Inhaling love, exhaling love. From the center of you out into the universe, from the universe back into you. Inhale and exhale. With your breath and intention, sharing and co-creating love with the divine source that created all the universe. Allow yourself to be completely filled with that divine and infinite feeling of unconditional love. This is the love that created you. This is the love that knew you before you were born. This is the love that will know you when your body no longer exists. When your mind no longer exists. Allow yourself to breathe in and out. And now maybe you direct your attention to the root, the base of your spine, and direct your inhalation and exhalation to the root of your spine, allowing yourself to feel the sensation of love there, and expanding love from that root into the universe. And on the next breath, moving your attention up into the middle of your thighs, allowing love to reside there. Expand out into the universe. Love returned to the middle of your thighs. Allowing your attention and your breath to move up in between your rib cage, above your belly button. Allowing the sensation of love to reside there. Expand out into the universe and return. Allowing your attention to move upward still into your heart space. Feeling the love there. Allowing it to expand far, far out into the universe, wider and wider. And return to the center of your body. Allowing yourself to move further up still into your throat, your shoulders, allowing a felt sense of love there. And allow that love to reach out far beyond into the darkness of the universe. Allowing that love to return from the universe into the center of your throat. Moving your attention upward still into the center of your eyes, your eyebrows, the middle of your brain. Allow love to reside there. Feel the sweet release as you allow that love to gently expand all the way out into the darkness of the universe. And return to the middle of your eyes, your forehead, back into the center of your brain. And gently moving upward still to above your head, above the center of your head. Experiencing love throughout your entire body. Gently allowing that light, your higher self, to sense and know love, to expand it to the far, far reaches of the universe, and allow the universe to reciprocate that love, and allow that love to pour over your entire body. allowing yourself to take an even deeper breath, recognizing that you have touched and been touched by your higher self, loved and been loved by the entire universe. And that in that entire universe, God didn't make no mistakes, made no mistakes when they made you. You are absolutely perfect. You are absolutely the co creator of your life force. Allow yourself to imagine a deep, deep, clear grounding cord coming from the top of your head all the way down your spine, all the way down your legs to your feet, deep into the center of the earth. Allow any negative or unwanted things to move down that center cord. Allow yourself to be anchored. Draw up anything from the earth's energy that you need to sustain you. And thank yourself for the practice. Your practice is now complete.